Are you looking to order a GM truck this summer and you live in Ontario, Canada? Are you hyper confused with all the weird dealer terminology you keep hearing? In this short video, I'm gonna give you the top 3 terms you need to know when you visit the dealer and you're trying to order a truck. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ryan Thompson. I'm the general manager at a small GM dealer in beautiful Alliston, Ontario. I'm gonna talk to you guys about the top 3 terms that dealers use loosely with customers that can be oftentimes very confusing. There's gonna be allocation, consensus, and constraint. A dealership's allocation is simply the amount and the mix of vehicles that GM's gonna give to a dealer. Now, to make it a little more confusing, a dealer could get, for example, allocation of 5 Chevrolet Silverado 1500s. However, we're gonna talk about constraint a little bit further on in the video. Just because they get 5 Silverados doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be able to get 5 Trail Boss Silverados. Allocation is typically determined on a dealer's sales rate. Dealers that sell a lot of trucks are going to get more allocation for trucks, and so on and so forth. So a good question to ask when you're ordering a vehicle is to get a sense of the dealer's allocation and if it's even something that's possible. For example, if you're looking for a C8 Corvette and the dealer only has allocation for 2 or 3 a year, you might not want to be number 30th on their wait list. All right, number 2, we're going to talk about consensus. This is one that you may not hear the dealer talk to you about. It's something we use internally, but consensus, typically for GM dealers here in Ontario, and I'm pretty sure in the US is the same, every 2 weeks, we get our consensus. A better way to think about consensus is kind of like our allowance. During consensus, GM's gonna let us know how many vehicles we get of each model. So one consensus, we might get 25 Silverados, 10 Equinox, 5 Yukon, 2 GMC Sierra. Now, dealers can turn down inventory in consensus. However, in 2021, there's no dealer in North America that's going to be turning down any inventory that they get. We're going to just take as much as we can because obviously supply has become super reduced and the demand is there, so we're trying to get every single vehicle we can. One of the most important things that I wanted to mention that I see happen a lot of times when customers try to order trucks specifically, a dealer can have as many sold orders as they want. So somebody could come into the dealership, buy a truck today, we take a deposit, we give them the numbers, we get all the specs. They then go in, if you want to call it almost like a holding tank. But if a dealer is not getting those vehicles in consensus, that order is not moving down the line. Once the dealer gets consensus for that specific vehicle, that's when the order process starts, where customers get really frustrated. And I think the reason this happens is because the salespeople and the management who's doing the ordering aren't really in sync. And the salespeople, I don't think, even understand how this process works. Customer will come in, they'll ask how long will it take to get this truck? The default answer will typically be 12 weeks. However, if we don't get allocation for one of those trucks for 4 weeks, when the consensus comes out, boom, the order starts that day. Now we're looking at 12 weeks from that point. So it's very important that you understand, the dealer's allocation, and if they get that allocation in consensus, that's when basically the party starts. And third, we're going to talk about constraints, which is super important in the ordering process. Okay, constraints are probably the biggest pain in the butt for any dealer. And with COVID and supply shortages and disruptions, we've never seen as many constraints as we have here in 2021. So let me try to explain it this way. In a perfect world, there would be 0 constraints. You could go on the GM website, you could build out your truck with every single option you want, and the dealer would order it. No problem. There wouldn't be anything to discuss. There wouldn't be any stress involved. Boom, you'd have your truck. But here's what happens in reality. Every consensus, that's that thing that happens every couple weeks when we figure out what we're gonna order, they will tell us what's on constraint. A constraint could be something as small as a running board or maybe a spray and bed liner. However, there are times where an entire trim level will be on constraint. So the AT4 might be on constraint, meaning we're not going to be able to order any AT4s unless we were one of those lucky dealers that were given allocation during that consensus. You're getting it now. So again, with constraint, if it's on constraint, it doesn't mean you can never ever get it. It doesn't mean the dealer isn't going to get it. It just means there's a small number available and they're being dished out to each dealer. So we may get 10 GMC Sierras available to order. AT4 may be on constraint and we get 2 AT4s, meaning out of our 10 Sierras, we can order 2 AT4s. The other 8, we're gonna have to order Elevation, SLE, whatever's available to us or whatever we think that we need. Okay, here's the biggest tip I can give you when you're ordering a truck. If you don't get anything from this video, just remember this. This is what I've seen happen many times. Not at our dealership, but many times. So a customer wants, we're gonna use the AT4 for example. Customer wants the AT4, it's their dream truck. They're willing to wait 12 weeks, 14 weeks, 4 months, they don't care. They want an AT4. They go on with their salesperson and they pick all the options they want. So they want a sunroof, they want a premium package, and then maybe they want one specific style of running board. The order then gets processed. It sits in that holding cell I told you about. And then maybe what happens is that AT4 that they ordered, the dealer gets availability, they can order one, but there's one thing holding it back. Maybe that one specific running board is on constraint. What this means is when we go to process the order, we get this big error message and it says, no, 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 you can't order this AT4 because of that one option. Now, if the ordering team or the manager or whoever's doing it at that dealership doesn't communicate this back to the salesperson who has to then tell their customer, hey Steve, great news, we can order your AT4 this week. There's only one catch. You know that running board you like? If we take that off and substitute it with another running board, we can order your truck. I've read forums, I've heard horror stories of customers waiting months and months and months to get an AT4 or a Denali, and the only thing that's holding them back is like this one little option. So you need to let your salesperson know that, hey, I want an AT4, I'm flexible on these options. These other 3 options, they're non-negotiable. I need to have those. Don't even call me. I don't even want to hear from you unless it's going to be available on the truck. But just remember, if you're a little more flexible, you have a way better chance of actually getting your truck in this climate. You should also ask your salesperson, what are some of the options that are potentially on constraint? And that way you can kind of price out a truck that maybe has a better chance of getting picked up. All right, so there you have it. 3 terms that are going to help you order a GM truck. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you have any other questions. Thanks, guys.